I moved into my RV full time about 4 years ago. And honestly, it's the best decision I ever made. And Happy thinks so too. Hi, say hello to everybody. This is Louie, my new puppy. He is about 3 months old, and so he's at the height of crazy, but we are having fun at the campground. But I wanted to talk about why moving into the RV, I feel, is the best decision I ever made for myself. I did it 4 years ago in 2022. Eat my mic. He's eating my mic now. Let's see if he'll be quiet. So the biggest change for the better is finances. I'm a single 50-something, I'm 58. And at the time, after the pandemic, the businesses kind of slowed down. Money was tight. I was maintaining a home, fancy car, traveling. Now he's knocking around my tripod. And it was becoming a lot. And that was one of the decisions that led me to go into the RV life. I was raised on a boat, so the tiny living was not a problem. And I kind of wanted to see the country. And so finances was a huge thing. And honestly, I can live on the cheap now. I have no rent. I have no utilities. My RV is completely off grid if I want it to be. One of the things I did do was invest in a camping membership with 1,000 Trails. Now, there's a lot of plus and minuses to 1,000 Trails. The biggest minus is most of the 1,000 Trails campgrounds are older. And so they're not going to be, super nice cement pads to pull in. I mean, it's camping. You're usually in an unlevel spot. There's usually a bunch of weeds and stuff around you. Most of their places are very wooded. Now I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so it could be different in other parts of the country. But these are older campgrounds. Some of the electrical boxes look a little crazy, and that kind of thing. But most of them have swimming pools and lots of trails to walk. And I love to pick blackberries and things like that. Usually lots of kids running around. But the membership, if you use it, is so wise and affordable. Hang on, puppy check. What are you chewing on? Yeah, hang on. There we go. He just needed something to chew on besides something that he shouldn't be chewing on. It's like having a toddler on. I have to watch him every second. He's always into something. But yeah, back to the 1,000 Trails. Great investment if you're going to use it. If you're not going to use it, it's a commitment. They have two different types. I started out with just a camping pass, which would allow me to camp anywhere in this zone, which is the Pacific Northwest, for like $500 or $600 a year. And I could camp 2 weeks in and then have to be out 1 week, and then 2 weeks in and out 1 week. Well, when I thought that I was going to be traveling full time and working on the road, I went ahead and purchased into one of their more deluxe packages where I can go from park to park and never have to leave. I can stay 3 weeks at a time and jump to another park, stay another 3 weeks, So that's what I did. And even with the payment on that membership, because it is a few $1,000s, and my camping pass, I only pay about, I think it averages out to about $140 a month. That wouldn't even cover a weekend in a state campground. So it's very, very doable if you're going to use it. If not, it's like a gym membership. If you're not going to use it, it's a waste of money. But I do use it. I spend my entire summer in the campground, and my grandkids come and visit me and things. So enough about 1,000 Trails. But I've just heard pluses and minuses. And for $150 or less a month, I'm okay with a little bit of an unlevel spot once in a while, or maybe some extra weeds I got to trump through. The other thing that I love about living in my RV is I'm a maximalist, okay? You're probably going to hear a lot of clunking. I'm a maximalist. I like lots of things. As you can see, I got things. I've got things. But it it made me become a maximalist minimalist, if that makes sense. I now can have the things that truly give me joy. I choose things very carefully about what I'm going to surround myself with. Um, I don't have a bunch of stuff I have to maintain or worry about, or, I have one closet that's about this wide, maybe about that wide, and it's not even full length. It's about 2/3 length of a regular closet. So it can handle a shirt, but not a dress kind of a thing. And then I have one, two, three, like 5 drawers. And that's all the clothes I have. And a friend of mine who is also a full-time RVer really struggles with that. She'd have, where do I put my clothes? Where do I put my clothes? I don't need that many clothes. I mean, I have, my lightweight stuff for the summer. And then in the winter, I've got a couple, 2, 3 sweaters. I wear a lot of hoodies in the winter, where I can still wear the shirt underneath and just throw a hoodie on. I've just really minimalized my clothing and my shoes. And when I lived in a house, I had a walk-in closet full of all of that, and I didn't even wear it. When I moved out, I realized there were things in there that I hadn't worn in forever. Now, for those of you that follow my channel, I'm a hairstylist. So when I go to work, I have the makeup on, I dress a little nicer, that kind of thing. So I have 2 or 3 nicer shirts that I wear to work, but I still try to stick to jeans, so that I don't have to have an extra pair of slacks or skirts or anything like that. I work in a casual salon, so I can get away with that. But yeah, I'm down to just, a couple pairs of tennis shoes and a pair of sandals and a pair of water socks. Oh, and then I have some hiking boots, and that's it. I used to have all these heels and all the things. So it made me downsize, which is so freeing. You don't understand. All that stuff is like golden handcuffs. It keeps you chained and constantly chasing trends and things like that. And I have what I have. And like I said, if I pick out something to put in my RV, it's intentional. It's like, okay, do I really, really, really think that's going to bring me joy in my life? I have pictures and things on the wall. I have some knickknacks back there. I have a few things, but they're things that I just love. And when I look at them, they bring back a memory or something like that. So it created a smaller space, less things, less upkeep. And that makes me happy. It freed me up a lot. Living in an RV gives you a different type of freedom. I don't have the freedom I originally intended. When I first, sold the house and bought the RV, I thought I was going to be traveling full time, but that gets very expensive. And working on the road wasn't giving me the kind of finances that I needed to really do what I wanted to do. And I started to miss my kids and my family. And so I stay right here in the Pacific Northwest for the most part. During the summer, I try to get out and travel a little bit more, although with gas prices this summer, I probably won't stray too far. But I stay in town where I work during the winter months when it's really nasty, and I park in a family member's driveway. And so I have my whole thing. I don't invade their space, but I stay there for the winter so that I don't have to commute in bad weather back and forth to work. But I only have to work 2 days a week to maintain my lifestyle because I have no overhead. I have no rent. I have no utility. I have very little. I have no car payment anymore. My groceries are minimal, so when the weather's bad, I do stay close to home. But then soon as spring hits, I'm back out to the campground because it's about an hour and 20-minute commute to work from here. So what I've been doing with the gas, normally I just drive back and forth, but with the gas the way it is this year, I drive into town, I work all day, I stay the night at a family member's house, work all the next day, and then drive back out to the campground, and I'm out here for 5 days in a row then. And that's working this year to save gas because, I mean, I only put a quarter tank in this rig the other day and it was $125. And my car, which used to cost me, $40 or $50 to fill, now it's $100 to fill. So I try to make that stretch as far as I can because I could pick up more work, but then I just spending more gas going back and forth to work. So I'd rather just do the very least amount of work I have to do to make ends meet until I'm old enough to get Social Security or maybe figure out something more passive. But I have got myself down right now that when I am retired, I can live off my Social Security with what I've got right now. Um, and I'm not saying that I always want to be in an RV for the rest of my life, but it's working now. I'm happy. I'm I'm free of all the chains that were holding me down to the house and the payments and the having to make that nut. I mean, I was a single person as a hairstylist having to come up with like $12,000 or $13,000 a month just to break even. That's insane. That's insane. Now I can get by on less than 2,000 a month. Once I have a couple more credit cards to pay off, but once those are paid off, that's I can live on that. And you know, I won't be traveling or doing anything rich, but I can get by on that. So that means any passive income I can create doing other things would just be extra where I could travel and things. So that's my long-term goal, and that's what I'm working towards. The other thing that I've noticed, and it took a while to get there, is I'm so less stressed. When I was in that lifestyle and having to keep up that the performance and the earning the money and keeping up the house and keeping up appearances, I was just stressed out all the time. And when I first moved into the RV, it was an adventure. And then after the adventure kind of came to a halt because money, I couldn't afford to do the things I wanted to do as far as traveling nonstop. Then I was almost embarrassed. I was embarrassed to say, oh, I live in an RV. Even though I have a very nice RV and I live very comfortably, and a lot of people couldn't afford to have this type of a rig. It was my home. And so that made it like seem like I was poor or like I was sad or pathetic or homeless. And it took me a while to get over that. And finally, I was like, what am I whining about? I still have that mindset that I have to keep up with the Joneses, that I have to impress people, that I have to perform for people and be a certain person. Why can't I just be me? Oh, sorry, I keep hitting my neck. Um, I'm happy. I'm relaxed. Right now, I'm sitting in the campground. You hear how quiet it is? You can hear the birds. You can hear my fridge. When I'm in town in the driveway, all I hear is traffic. All I hear are blowers and lawnmowers and traffic and people and stuff. And the freeway's just like half a block away. And I hear that. And I can't even sleep that well. Here at night, it's pitch black. It's quiet. I spend my day painting. I spend my day writing. I spend my day walking the trails with my new little ragamuffin that keeps me busy. Um, I chat with other campers and hear their stories. Many, many of them in the off season like this are, before the summer really gets going, are full timers like me. So we have a lot in common to talk about. But I'm never lonely. People think, well, aren't you alone? No, I'm not lonely. I enjoy my own company now. I enjoy writing. I enjoy getting lost in, my paintings and tinkering around in the RV. And is it all, sunshine and rainbows? No. And I'll do another video about that, about some of the negative parts of living in an RV. But overall, this life has created a freedom for me. And I know it's not for everyone. It takes a special kind of person to do this. But like I said, I have a special situation. I was raised by a mechanic. I've always been a do-it-yourselfer. I figure things out. Um, I've always been a little bit of a loner, even though I've played a social person on the weekends. But now that I'm older, I appreciate my quiet time so much more. And being a hairstylist, that 2 or 3 days a week that I'm in the salon, that's about all the energy I have to give out anymore. And so after, a couple, 2, 3 days with clients and the other stylists and all the energy and, all the give and take and the performance, I'm ready for my 5 days of quiet again. And I have no problem with being alone. I really enjoy it. I went through a few months there where my last dog passed away of old age, Sadie, my Dane. Some of you have seen her on here. She's gone now. And without a dog, it was rough. And so now we have Louie, and he's my little joy. And I walk him all day long. And although he's so funny, I got to tell you the story. So I'll be walking and he'll just lay down. And it makes me laugh because my Tinkerbell, my other Westie years ago, would do the same thing. If she was done walking, she's like, no, I'm done. She'd just lay down and she would not, but they're so stubborn. Westies, if you've ever had one or you know someone else, so I have to pick him up and carry him for a little while, and then he'll decide he wants back down again. But I just love him to death. But anyway, that's why I live the life I do. And I don't know if it's forever, but it's for now. And it's amazing. I don't see it ending anytime soon. I mean, things would have to change pretty dramatically in my life. The thought of, well, maybe I'll get an apartment. Maybe why? Why would I shell out? In my area, it's for a tiny one bedroom. Like you're looking at $1,500 a month plus utilities and everything. So let's say 17 to 2,000 a month, all in. Why? I would have to work so much harder. I would have to work twice as hard as I work now just to have that space. And then it would be buying the furniture and everything to get in. I have everything I need right here. I have everything I need. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I don't have visitors over, so I'm not worried about that. When the grandkids come up to camp, they're only here for a couple of days. Yeah, it's tight, it's crowded, it's crazy, but they suck my energy and then they go home and then I can relax again. I enjoy having them though. It's so much fun to have them up here and see them be kids. Another quick story. I was walking through the campground last night and there was this feral group of kids. Oh my goodness. There was about 8 of them and they ranged from ages maybe 3 or 4 to maybe 6 or 7. They were all really little. And they had these 2, those electric Jeeps that they drive. And they were ramming into each other and chasing each other and driving all over and yelling and screaming. Of course, they saw me coming and these kids looked like they were homeless. And I know they're not, but they were just filthy and their hair was just crazy and faces sticky and dirty and barefoot. And I loved it. It's like, this is what kids should be. And they came over and they said hi to Louie and, he loved on them and they petted him and he loved all the attention. And then this morning I was walking by and I saw the 2 Jeeps parked there and the mom and dad were outside. And the mom came over to pet Louie and I says, where is the feral tribe from last night? I miss seeing them. And she says, oh, well, they're there, whatever. She goes, yeah, there's 8 of them altogether. I says, well, there was at least 7 last night. She goes, oh my God, they are wild. I says, you know what? That's what kids should be. They should be out here just getting dirty and having fun. And that's what I love when I bring my grandkids in up here with me. I just, do what you want, have fun. We'll bathe you in the pool later. But anyway, this happens to be, I'm filming on Memorial Day weekend. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. The weather's great here in the Northwest, and I will talk to you soon. I would love for you to join my Snail Mail Club. It's a story that comes in the form of letters each month. Each letter is about 8 pages, or a chapter of the story, if you will. Our heroine starts out having a fairly normal day on the homestead and going to the market to sell her eggs and bread. But then things take a turn, and she finds herself in quite the situation. And each month, her adventure will continue. She'll meet magical creatures and adventure, and each letter will include things that she's found or things to do with the story that you can journal with. Be sure to join us and be part of the story. I'm super excited. You can sign up at parchmentandtreasure.com.